Is it important to carry an emergency radio with you on your motorcycle? And if so, is this the one for you? We're going to get into that in this video. What's up everybody, I'm Andrew, this is Touring Midwest. We like to do some motorcycle related content around here, and we like to find some cool local establishments for a place to eat or maybe get a drink, check out breweries and things like that. So whether you're into bikes or you want to know where to find the best burgers and brews and things to do and see in the area, click that subscribe button. We'll get on with this video. So in this video we're going to talk about this particular emergency radio from Sun Life, and we're going to look at what it's capable of and what it can do. We're going to check out the quality and get my overall impressions with this radio. But more importantly, is it something that you should bring with you on your motorcycle trips or whatever? Let's get into it. Now honestly, I don't know a whole lot about weather band emergency radios and things like that, but this company reached out to me and wondered if I wanted to check this one out. So I said yeah. I started thinking about it and I was like, you know, having kind of an emergency radio might be kind of a cool idea, you know, to have with you on the motorcycle when you're doing big trips and things like that. So when I first opened this one up, I thought, well, that's a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. And that's true. It is a little bit bigger. It is a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. But I did a little bit of searching online for emergency radios. Most of them that I have found so far are pretty similar, have the same features and stuff as this one, and are relatively close to the same size from what I can tell. So that might just be something you have to deal with. Let's go over some of the features. So first of all, it does have a little solar panel up here, so you're probably able to do some solar charging. I haven't tested that feature out yet, but it is there. You're also able to charge it via USB behind this flap right here for charging. You're also able to charge a cell phone or some other equipment via USB off of this panel right here. So now basically everything about this thing is for emergencies. So I mean, it does quite a few different things. There's also a battery compartment right here, so you're able to charge, or you're able to run it off of some batteries. Looks like 3 AA batteries, so that's an option as well. But I think the best feature is probably the crank. You're able to just crank this thing up and charge it that way, and that seems to work fairly well. That's what I've done for this thing. And then there's a little light that shows up right here to let you know about how much power you've got, or that you have power. Give it some cranks and you can charge it up that way, and this little icon here will light up a little bit. Down on the bottom, it's got some switches for whether you're running off of batteries, AAA batteries, 3 AAA batteries, or if you're running off of the built-in rechargeable battery. And then here it's got some selections for just a regular flashlight, SOS, or alarm, siren, whatever. So that kind of brings us to the flashlight, which is right here. Now this thing isn't super bright, but again, in an emergency, I think you'd have it. Of course, if you watched last week's video, you would have seen my other flashlight options, so I think you should have a flashlight with you anyways, but this would be, you know, a pretty good backup. Also, if you need another option for light, this, where the solar panel is, actually flips up, and there's like, they call it a reading light, so that's right there, so that's kind of nice as well. And then it's got the AM, FM radio and weather band. Switch it to weather. Turn it on here on the side, and we can flip through. Probably won't find anything because the weather's good. Cold, but good. This does have an antenna, so that might help, I guess. So that's kind of that. And then it's got the AM FM radio. So I think that's kind of basically the features. Let's see. There is another light down here. I can't. you go. That's the SOS. Oh, and if you switch it all the way down to the bottom, that's for if you're charging it via USB. So there we go. I think under the light here from the solar panel, you can see that red light on right there that's showing that it's charging via light. Now obviously an interior light's not going to charge this thing like the actual sun would. That's what it's meant for. But if it does sense light, that will light up. So that's kind of the features of this thing, and kind of gives you some options and things like that. Should you bring one of these with you on a motorcycle trip? And if so, is this the one for you? I've been giving it some thought, and I think if you have a bagger, like some of the baggers, some of the Harley Davidson touring bikes even have weather band built into them. Mine doesn't, but I do have a stereo, so I've got AM/FM radio. I can get weather reports and things like that. But I do like the idea of having something like this, because if you do get stuck out in bad weather, you can kind of keep an eye on it, or an ear on it, I guess, and kind of get an idea of the situation. If you're in an area that you can pick up some weather broadcasts, I guess. The fact that you're able to charge a device like a phone in an emergency is good. You do have the flashlight and the map light, which I think are kind of nice added features. And you've got the SOS in case of an emergency. So there's some nice features on it. And it's got a lanyard here, and that's kind of good, I guess. So there is some options with it. Now this one specifically, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience with weather emergency radios such as this, but I will say these knobs on the end don't feel great. The one to adjust the station feels kind of wobbly, and it's kind of hard to get the station dialed in just right with this thing. Kind of the same with the volume knob. Feels a little more sturdy, but not a lot. Plus they're kind of big. I just feel like if this got bumped around enough, these would probably break. Overall, it does have a bit of a cheap feel to it. It's not super heavy. I'm not entirely sure that it's waterproof, although I would say that the USB port does have a nice rubber cover here, so I'm sure that it would hold up to some you know, wetness, some moisture, things like that. If you left it out on the picnic table, or it got left out on the bike or something like that, I think it would probably hold up pretty good. Obviously, if it was pooling up in a puddle of water, I'm not sure that would be really great, but I think overall it probably would hold up okay. I just feel like in a bike, something like this, throwing it in a saddlebag or whatever, especially if the saddlebag's not packed full, it's going to have a tendency to kind of move around and bounce around. I'm not sure how some of this stuff is going to hold up. The lens or whatever around the flashlight portion also just feels kind of cheap. It does have an adjustable lens for the flashlight as well. So that's kind of my overall thoughts on this. I'm not really sure how great this is. I think these run about $24 or $30 or something like that, and I'm not entirely positive that this one is worth that. So I would say jump on like Amazon or whatever and do a little bit of research, read some reviews on different ones, and see what you think is best. But overall, I do think that having an emergency weather radio with you is a good idea. And like I said, it's got some other features that makes it kind of handy to have with you. And especially if you don't have a touring bike, something with a stereo, you might want to have some music when you're out camping. Obviously, you're not going to want to leave your motorcycle on for an extended period of time, so even if you do have music there, you probably don't want to be playing it at camp anyways. So maybe something like this is a good idea. Just set it on your picnic table or on a stump or whatever, be able to have some music going, and then if the weather does turn rough, you've got the weather band on there. And again, if you're If you don't have a way to charge your phone, you're able to do that off of here. I'm not sure how much, how well. Again, check some reviews. I haven't had a chance to really test this thing fully. I do plan on, like I said, it's a little oversized, but if I've got the space for it on any little bike trips or overnight trips and things like that, I think I will bring it with just to do some testing and things like that. So maybe you'll see this pop up in another video later, a camping video or an adventure video. You might see it pop up. But overall, that's about it. What do you guys think? Would you use an emergency radio? Do you usually bring a weather emergency radio with you when you travel? Is it a good idea, bad idea, not needed, not necessary? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to help support the content here on Touring Midwest, I want to be able to do more reviews. I want to be able to go out and make purchases of different products and things for motorcycle camping and things for the bike, and be able to do more reviews and tutorials and install videos and things like that. So if that sounds cool to you, then consider becoming a patron right here. Click that button, and that would be really legit. I appreciate your help. I appreciate you. Other than that, you can check out this video here, this one right here. Here's a couple of links. This one's the subscribe button. And that's going to do it for this one, y'all. Stay safe out there as always, and we will catch you next time right here on Touring Midwest.